Hi, good morning, everyone. I am, as announced, Dr. Marissa Zuzalak. I'm the branch chief of FEMA's Future Conditions Resilience Branch. In my work at FEMA, I've had the privilege of leading initiatives focused on one of our most pressing challenges, helping communities build resilience to natural disasters and climate-related risks. My background is rooted in environmental science and disaster mitigation. And throughout my career, I've seen the transformative impacts that proactive, nature-based solutions can have on protecting lives, livelihoods, and our ecosystems. At FEMA, we often meet people on their worst day. Their town is flooded, or their home has been destroyed from a fire. Many of you have seen or encountered FEMA's response team in these moments, providing that vital support and that hope. But there's another side of FEMA that's just as important, a side focused on preventing those worst days, so fewer communities can have less devastation. One of the ways we do this is through nature-based solutions. It's a proactive, resilient approach to protecting communities by working with nature. After Hurricane Sandy devastated New Jersey, I visited communities that had been severely impacted. I lived there. I was impacted myself. The destruction was overwhelming. Homes were destroyed, businesses shuttered, and a sense of uncertainty lingered in the air. And in the years following, um, the disaster, FEMA has partnered with state and local leaders, similar to how they do here, to discuss and implement a range of nature-based solutions, including coastal dunes and wetlands, beach restoration, among other things. These projects not only reduce the risk of future flooding, but it also revitalized the natural landscape, drawing back wildlife and even boosting tourism, which I know is an important component here in Puerto Rico as well. I'll never forget speaking with local business owners and our local community members, seeing those efforts, not just to rebuild the coastline, but restore their hope. Seeing how nature can play such a vital role protecting both lives and livelihoods left a lasting impression on me. So through nature-based solutions, FEMA is leading the way in creating sustainable, adaptable protections against hazards like floods, fires, and hurricanes. By restoring wetlands and stabilizing shorelines and even rebuilding coral reefs, which you're familiar with here, we're helping communities not only reduce the risk, but also enhance their environments. Today, I will walk you through how FEMA is integrating nature-based solutions across the country, particularly in watersheds, and how communities and individuals like you can bring those solutions to your own neighborhoods. So what are nature-based solutions? They are defined as actions to protect, sustainably manage, and restore natural or modified ecosystems that address societal change effectively and adaptively, simultaneously providing well-being and biodiversity benefits. This is a definition from the NCA 5, which I hope everyone's familiar with, but they represent a transformative approach to resilience, one that allows us to work in harmony with nature rather than just building over it or against it. But exactly what are they? In essence, they're innovative. They're adaptable strategies. They leverage the power of natural ecosystems to address societal changes like disaster risk reduction, climate adaptation, and sustainability development. By protecting, managing, and restoring natural or modified ecosystems, they simultaneously enhance human well-being and biodiversity. These approaches not only mitigate immediate risks like flooding or heat waves, but they also provide a long-term benefit like the cleaner air and water, carbon sequestration, habitat restoration, and making them a critical component of climate resilience and sustainability efforts. FEMA's committed to supporting nature-based solution projects through green infrastructure options. Some options are floodplain restoration and hybrid systems that combine natural elements with structural solutions. So connecting that living shoreline with the seawall. So that would be a gray and a green feature, which would be a hybrid solution, which is proven to be extremely effective. Beyond just addressing immediate hazards, these projects will offer long-term resilience by creating adaptable, self-sustaining protections. In short, nature-based solutions don't just mitigate risks. They help us create communities that support or are better equipped for the challenges of tomorrow. They support a vision of resilience that isn't just preventing the next disaster, but it's also building a sustainable future and where people and natural ecosystems can thrive together. Today, we're going to explore some of the goals and challenges and future opportunities of nature-based solutions in our watersheds and how they fit into FEMA's broader resilience strategy. So now let's explore some of the specific benefits that nature-based solutions offer. So watersheds are complex. They're interconnected. They're ecosystems that play a crucial role in our management and disaster resilience. It provides a natural defense against floods, droughts, and other hazards. Implementing nature-based solutions within these areas offer a number of benefits that extend far beyond the immediate risk reduction. In watersheds, nature-based solutions play a critical role in the risk reduction and ecosystem health. FEMA is helping communities integrate nature-based solutions to build resilience that extends beyond the immediate protection. Reducing disaster risks is one of the primary advantages of natural features like wetlands or forests and dunes that are providing that protection buffers. They absorb the floodwaters, reduce storm surge, and prevent erosion. These natural defenses greatly reduce disaster impacts for nearby communities. They're also adaptive and self-sustaining, which makes them an invaluable asset to the community for resiliency efforts. By investing in nature-based solutions, our watersheds, we're protecting water resources, we're supporting biodiversity, and the communities that thrive alongside those healthy ecosystems. Nature-based solutions nature-based projects deliver social environmental co-benefits, and they create jobs, improve public health by increasing green spaces, enhance biodiversity, and they also are powerful investments that strengthen the community economically, socially, and environmentally. Reducing the core objective of nature-based solutions is the use of a natural system to lessen the impacts of disaster. So again, like wetlands, forests, and floodplains act as natural sponges. They absorb the floodwaters, mitigate the force of the storm surges, and buffer against wind damage. So for example, wetlands have the capacity to reduce floodwater levels by up to 60%. This offers a natural barrier that implements traditional infrastructure in reducing disaster impacts. It also enhances community resilience and environmental health. By creating ecosystems that can adapt and thrive under any conditions, like again, for instance, restoring forests not only helps prevent wildfires, but it also improves soil health. So it stabilizes the climate and provides habitats for wildlife. So there's multiple benefits to the use of a nature-based solution. When we implement them in watersheds, we're not only protecting our water resources, but we're also fostering biodiversity, which has cascading effects on the resilience of the entire ecosystem. Unlike traditional infrastructure, which often requires significant maintenance, Nature-based solutions are inherently adaptable and self-sustaining, most of them. For instance, restoring rainforests, living shorelines, for instance, grow stronger as the vegetation matures. It provides a long-term protection that is less vulnerable in climate-induced wear. And investing in nature-based solutions allows for communities to reduce the need for costly repairs or maintenance. They also support local economies by creating jobs, enhance property values, and promote tourism. And socially, it improves public health by increasing green spaces and improving air and water quality. While environmentally, they contribute to biodiversity and carbon sequestration. The broad benefits of nature-based solutions make them valuable and make it an invaluable investment for the community. And finally, when we invest in nature-based solutions, we're investing in the long-term resilience of our communities. Those projects are they're not just reducing immediate risk. They're about ensuring that communities have long-term resilient protection and will reduce the strain on those man-made infrastructure and create sustainable systems that grow stronger with time. So as we discuss these benefits, it's important to understand the larger vision for resilient communities, which thrives under the nature-based solutions. So across the country, communities are facing the effects of a more frequent and intense disaster due to climate change. FEMA's vision for resilience goes beyond just responding to those events. It focuses on building systems and protect communities before the disaster hits. Ultimately, our goal is a future where every community, regardless of resources, it has access to resilient measures that provide both security and a sense of connection to the place. FEMA's strategic framework centers on taking proactive measures to build resilience and when disasters occur. So by focusing on creating proactive, protective systems and planning ahead, we aim to reduce the need for recovery and to protect lives, properties, communities, and advance those potential hazards. At FEMA, equity, partnerships, and local engagements are the heart of our approach to resilience. So we recognize that disasters have a disproportionate impact on underserved communities, and it exacerbates existing inequalities. So by rebuilding in these communities is more about the physical repair. It's about restoring a sense of security and stability for the future. And by prioritizing equity, we aim to focus resilience efforts on vulnerable populations who need it the most. Aligned with our FEMA goals, we emphasize the importance of implementing resilience measures with a focus on environmental justice. Nature-based solutions play an integral role in resilience planning. Through collaboration with local governments, tribal nations, and community organizations, we can create nature-based solutions not only to protect communities, but to also address social inequalities, enhancing both environmental and social resilience. As of September, FEMA has become a member of the Sentinel Landscape Partnership, where we plan to increase that coordination effort across the nation and incorporating FEMA cost share efforts into existing grant applications like America the Beautiful, NIFWIF, REPI, to try and help create that systematic approach to protection using nature-based solutions. So our ultimate vision is a future where every community is resilient, it's equitable, and it's sustainable. Nature-based solutions are essential tools to achieve this vision. The future of resilience is one where communities, regardless of resources, has access to protective measures which are needed to thrive. So I'm going to go through some examples of nature-based solution projects that were funded under FEMA and some real-life examples. So land conservation. Preserving natural areas like forests, wetlands, floodplains helps absorb the floodwaters and buffers against extreme weather. These conserved lands provide critical habitats and they maintain ecosystem balance. Green streets and alleys. So by incorporating green infrastructure like permeable pavement and rain gardens, we help manage stormwater while reducing urban heat and creating more pleasant, walkable environments. So whereas permeable pavement is a little more intensive when it comes to maintenance, it's still an effective way to manage stormwater. Urban tree canopies used often with extreme heat scenarios. So planting a tree, it offers multiple benefits. They cool the air, reduce stormwater runoff, and improve air quality. And expanding those tree canopies is a sustainable way to mitigate both heat and flooding. It also gets individuals out of the house. So I am from New Jersey and New York, the New York area. We're working on an urban tree corridor with our FEMA counterparts, our region counterparts, and the DOT. And interesting that there would be very little places for an individual to go outside and find a drink of water if there was no air conditioning or a cooling system. So identifying those extreme urban heat areas and just implementing very simple solutions like planting a tree, putting a water fountain in these walkways is imperative. So start thinking outside of the box. Look at places where you see or you think have an enormous amount of resources, but they're singled out in certain locations. So if you see those types of areas, you can incorporate these simple solutions. Some other areas are rain gardens and bioswales. These features capture, filter stormwater naturally, reducing runoff and pollution in urban areas. And by managing the water at the source, rain gardens and bioswales can protect water quality while it adds that greenery in the landscape. Some other options are green roofs. This is a pretty common option. It's covering rooftops and vegetations, which helps insulate buildings. It helps manage stormwater and reduce urban heat. These are very popular in New York City. There's several versions of these. You can do a more intensive green roof or a less extensive. Determine your structural requirements, capability, and then how much you want to maintain them. So varying degrees of green roofs, and some are very easy to implement. So to illustrate the range and impact of the nature-based solutions, I'm going to give you some examples. Some specific examples are here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So the shoreline stabilization and the wetlands restoration. They're designed to reduce flood risks from hurricanes and rising sea levels by restoring natural habitats. And these projects also foster community engagement and support local ecosystems. I'll speak more about this later, but also the San Juan's Coral Reef Restoration Project in San Juan Bay. We also have living shorelines in North Carolina. Their use of natural materials such as like oyster shells and vegetation to stabilize coastal areas, protect against hurricanes, and support local biodiversity. And these projects offer a sustainable alternative to traditional barriers like seawalls. We also have a wetlands restoration in Massachusetts. There's been a lot of success with this as it's focused on the watershed protection. So by preserving thousands of acres, these projects improve water quality and they help avoid costly water infiltration systems, which provide financial and ecological benefits. Oh, we also have, I'm originally from southern New Mexico. We also have an urban stormwater park in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This park is designed to manage stormwater during heavy rains while providing green recreational spaces. The dual purpose is demonstrate how nature-based can serve both that hazard mitigation, but it can also service the community needs. This is an interesting one. Most people may be aware, extreme heat is a primary hazard in New Mexico. So stormwater runoff tends to get placed on the secondary priority, but it is an important aspect. It doesn't have the infrastructure to protect against inland flooding naturally. Oh, I think this is going to be your favorite. Um, this is the Coral Reef Restoration Project in San Juan Bay. It's a powerful example of nature-based solutions in action as a coral reef restoration project here in San Juan. It acts as a natural barrier, protecting coastlines from storm surges and erosion while creating habitats to marine life. So after the devastation caused by Hurricanes Irma and Maria, which you all are very aware of, FEMA joined forces with federal, territorial, academic, and nonprofit partners to identify coral reef restoration opportunities as a way to reduce flood and erosion risks. So together, FEMA and the U.S. Coral Reef Task Force developed projects to rehabilitate and rebuild in those vital reefs. So in 2023, FEMA awarded over $3 million from Hazard Mitigation Grant Program to fund the first phase of the restoration. The first FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant dedicated to coral reef restoration, which was a huge effort done by our regional offices. When complete, the restored reefs will act as a natural buffer, absorbing wave energy and protecting nearby communities from storm impacts. So beyond storm protection, the project is going to provide co-benefits as well, which include water quality, improved water quality, support for marine habitats, and then enhance that local tourism. The project demonstrates transformative power of nature-based to build resilience while preserving that natural beauty. So in addition, FEMA, in collaboration with the Natural Conservancy and AECOM, FEMA, I'm taking credit, and again from our regional offices, launched 3 job aids for Puerto Rico, which are available in English and Spanish. And you can see the QR code up here. So if you'd like to activate that to access these job aids, it's to promote the implementation of nature-based solutions for recovery projects related to sandy shorelines, dune restorations, stream bank stabilization, and stormwater management. These job aids consider the unique topography and weather conditions of Puerto Rico, and includes a general cost calculator, design guidance, and case studies of projects already implemented on the island. There are also editable versions of the nature-based solution calculators, making it easier for communities to use these solutions for their specific needs. Let me know if you have any issues with this. We can get it to you individually. So these job aids consider the unique topography and weather conditions of Puerto Rico. Oh, I already told you that. So there's another tangible example of how FEMA is promoting nature-based solutions for reconstruction projects and watershed approach, providing essential tools to help their specific needs. This is to ensure the success of these projects. FEMA has established strategies that are essential for effective nature-based solution implementation. So FEMA's success with nature-based solution relies on several categories. First, it's building strong partnerships with local governments, environmental groups, and community members is a key to nature-based solutions success. At headquarters, we partner with the Office of Science, Technology Policy. We also have a number of interagency groups that we participate in, Green Infrastructure Federal Collaborative, led by EPA. We're also actively involved in the US GCRP. We provide technical support as co-authors for the first National Nature Assessment, as well as the NCA 6. So engaging the whole community ensures that nature-based solutions reflect the need for each community, which with a particular focus on our underserved community. Matching the project scale and the goals aligns to the project size with the objectives, from large-scale watershed efforts to smaller urban parks. So that communication, that coordination with your local governments and the NGOs, on the ground is essential to making sure that you have that systematic approach to provide resilience to your communities. We also focus on maximizing your co-benefits, ensuring that each project delivers environmental, social, and economic advantages that extend beyond disaster risks. And finally, designing for the future is essential. So by using future climate data, we can create adaptable, long-lasting, nature-based solutions that remain effective as conditions evolve. So now that we've reviewed these strategies, let's examine how FEMA advances equity and resilience through nature-based solutions. So to drive the adaptation, or to drive the adaptation of nature-based solutions, it's essential to highlight their economic benefits as well. So they're not only effective, but they're also a smart investment. Nature-based solutions are cost-effective and sustainable, and they carry lower life cycle costs than traditional infrastructure, which provides long-term savings by reducing the need for costly repairs and upkeep. Again, permeable pavement will require additional maintenance, but is still an effective nature-based solution. However, a living shoreline, similar, have a way of self-sustaining after a certain amount of time. They also deliver a significant economic advantage by reducing wastewater infrastructure needs, boosting property values in the neighborhood, and creating green jobs. So as we move forward, I want to dive into some of the nature-based solutions through funding. So there are several funding opportunities from FEMA that we can provide through nature-based solutions support. First, we have the Building Resilience Infrastructure and Communities grants. We also have our flood mitigation assistance and our hazard mitigation grant program. We also work in concert with HUD's program of community development, community development block grant disaster recovery. And each program offers communities a pathway to implement resilience projects tailored to those unique needs. Federal Flood Risk Management Standard, or FFRMS, has been updated to encourage higher flood protection standards, especially in climate change increased flood risks. This update promotes a proactive approach, making nature-based solutions a more viable and effective choice. We also provide technical assistance, like financing climate resilience guidance document that was published through my office recently and is on the FEMA.gov site. So we're gonna, now that we've reviewed the strategies, I'm gonna move into advancing some equities. So the need for equity and environmental justice in resilience planning is imperative. Nature-based solutions offer the effective pathway to address both the immediate risks and underlying inequalities. Through the job aids that I spoke of earlier, providing that extra technical assistance that underserved communities can utilize can help them create their own scopes of work and help move forward in using nature-based solutions without the need for contract support or technical efforts. So by providing those tools and those guidance documents, we're hoping that will increase the implementation of nature-based solutions. So building resilience infrastructure and communities, the BRIC program focused on sustainable solutions such as green infrastructure and natural stormwater. So Louisiana, our BRIC funding has supported the construction of living shorelines and protect against coastal erosion. To use BRIC, work with your state's emergency management agency to explore funding for projects like wetland restoration or floodplain reconnection, or reach out to your municipalities. The Hazard Mitigation Grant Program provides post-disaster funding to support resilience building. So after Hurricane Sandy, New York used HMGP to restore dunes along the coastline, which now acts as a natural buffer. And then in concert again with for HUD, the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery assist underserved communities with nature-based solutions to enhance resilience and environmental justice. And I know that I am running out of time, so I do apologize. I did go over a little bit. I did want to. Okay, I'm just gonna wrap it. So in conclusion, I want to thank you all for having me here today. Here I have the email address to my office. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll make sure that your question gets to the right individual if we can't respond to it ourselves. But again, it's such a pleasure to be here to speak to you on behalf of FEMA and nature-based solutions and how we can encourage the implementation of those natural features, to protect against resilience. So with that, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.